Hey guys, what's up? It's Ron Newcomb here for another Rangers update. And it is, let's say, Wednesday at about 9:30 Eastern Time, and we got a little bit of work to do to get this thing to completion, but that just makes for an exciting ending. Isn't that what a story's all about? So I have Wolf J. Sherrill here with me.
And I'm excited to be here.
Nice. Wolf is now become not a long time friend, but we've been friends now since Rise of the Fellowship, and it has been a 7-year journey. So we filmed back in '09. So I have got to know Wolf for the past 4 years, and so Wolf, let's just dive into it. I just wanted people to get an opportunity to meet you, to kind of see a little bit of Wolf before he puts on the cloak and the sword and dons that to bring Lieutenant Wolf to the tale, because you know this. I think I've told you this before, but to the people out there, I knew I wanted to do two things on my next project. I wanted to do fantasy, and I wanted Wolf to be a part of it in some way. And so I took those two things and kind of brainstormed with Scott and then the rest of the creative team to come up with this story, and that's how Lieutenant Wolf was kind of brought into existence. But Wolf, just for the audience, people that don't know you, why don't you give just a little bit of background of kind of how you got to where you are now, how you even got affiliated with my first film, Rise of the Fellowship, and then where we are today.
Sure. Well, first, I just want to say that I'm very humbled by the relationship that I have with Ron and Scott and all of the opening act folks. I was just talking to a student. I teach at James Madison University, and I was just talking to a student today about how lucky it is once you get people in your network who appreciate your work and are willing to work, have a desire to work with you.
Yeah.
So again, I'm grateful for that relationship. But it all started way back when I saw an ad, and I can't remember if it was on Dragonuck or Virginia Film Association or where I saw it. But there was this film, and I'm not even sure if the working title. I guess the working title was Rise of the Fellow's Hip. Or what was the working title at that point, or was there one?
Yeah, there was. It was actually originally called just The Fellowship.
Right, gotcha.
And then it worked its way into The Fellow's Hip, Rise of the Gamers, and now we have Rise of the Fellowship.
Right. But I was looking at some of the character breakdowns, and I thought, well, I could play the principal, or a teacher, maybe a couple other things, and then I was looking at this Baba Melvin guy, and the breakdown, and it seemed kind of a hippie, and I know you wanted a little bit older. Ron wanted it a little bit older, I think, in his mind, but I just thought, maybe there's something that I can connect with here, and so Ron let me read Baba Melvin, and I'll never forget. Just Ron was standing there and just looking at me, and there was this lovely moment of, huh. And then Ron said, I think that I'm going to have to think about this and reconsider. Who this character is and how he fits into the world, and that was how it all started.
Yeah, it was you and another actor on Rise of the Fellowship, Ashley Batten. Her character was originally written for a guy, and she did such a great job that she was cast as kind of we had kind of two antagonist, and when the one lead antagonist, played by Jason Krasnarich, goes away for a time, her character takes on the antagonist persona, and the introduction ultimately to Bob Melvin, our mentor character, which is played by you. Ashley was cast in that role, and it was, now you look at it and it was like it was written and meant for her. And say, I would say the same is true for Bob and Melvin. The reason I really like that story is for, you know, a lot of actors right now, when you're in development and starting to go into pre-production, a lot of actors are always looking for cool content, and fantasy fans know when they see cool content, like something like the Rangers, and I could just imagine what they're going through of like, oh my gosh, so cool. And so I began fielding a lot of inquiries from actors, and so I wanted people to get a little bit of a perspective and a voice from one of the actors, one, that they may be working with, and then two, just kind of, you know, on the journey yourself and how you got there and kind of lessons learned, because all that becomes inspiring and different motivations that you can use, you know, in your craft and so forth. But you said, like you said, you're a professor at James Madison University. You teach about a lot of acting. You also direct a little bit too, some stage things now?
I do. I direct about once a year, in all kinds of genres, from Shakespeare to this past year I directed Boing Boing, which was a farce.
Yeah. Cool.
You know, bedroom farce, and that was a lot of fun. So, so yeah, and of course I do act on the side. Not so much. Gosh, the last play I did was through Available Light Theater in Columbus, Ohio, where, again, another unique kind of opportunity where it was a brand new world premiere of a version of Pride and Prejudice, and I got to play both Darcy and Collins. So kind of the hero and then the evil kind of lucky guy in the same production, which was a lot of fun.
Yeah, no, that's great. I mean, what a stretch and a challenge as an actor to kind of push yourself to go there and have the freedom to do that. That's freedom as in acting is really kind of a place you want to get to and appreciate. So a lot of actors out there that are kind of thinking through what they might do. You get someone, you have a nice rich history and education even, and now teaching. What are some nuggets that you think, as far as specifically to acting goes, that an actor, you might be able to say, just kind of wrap it up? Again, just a few nuggets that actors might be out there that you could kind of bestow upon them.
Sure. Well, I teach the action-based system, and that's what works for me, which is, and it's kind of, there's some basic tenets. There's all kind of different permutations of it, but for me, it comes down to a couple things. One is the character history or the given circumstances. So what created this character? What are the events, life events, that brought this character to life? As we all have, you know, if we think back, gosh, what were some life-shaping events? If we kind of imaginatively create those, then we've got that history that just lives with us. But then it comes down to, what does the character need? What is that need that the character has? And how does that translate to a verb, which is, what is the character fighting for? What is happening in that moment? And then, I mean, those would be kind of and then testing it. Seeing if I win or if I lose, because if I win, hey, right? That is great. Of course, it's much more interesting and more dramatic, and good writing lends to a lot of failure. Because if it'd be a really short play if I walk on stage and I win, right? It'd be a 30-second play.
Yeah.
Nothing else to fight for.
That's right. Yeah. You know, of course, I can't wait to put on the directing hat again. My first love is acting, but I've fallen in love with directing, and I can't wait to put that directing hat on. And so I've been doing a lot of training myself and reading, just like one would with any craft. And the verb is the thing I've been playing over and over in my head. Give your actors freedom to act, a safe place, the freedom to act, and then to give them that verb. Adjectives sound so good. If you're a director out there, they sound great. You know, act more lovingly.
Charming.
Act more charming. That's
Can you
great.
be more charming, please?
Yeah. And so the actor's like, yes, right, I hear that, and I'm there with you. But really, it's confusing, and you can't grab it. And so you're much better off giving them an action, giving them a verb.
Yeah.
Give them an action to execute, and you will find your actors doing just that. And so I've really been trying to practice that because we're having all types. You know, you are one of our seasoned actors. You and I have worked together. I feel like we have a good rapport, good working relationship. And one of the things I want us to do kind of as a family, as the Ranger family starts to form and develop, is to elevate and bring up everyone's talent. I found that to be true with Rise of the Fellowship. Is day one of filming, you know, of course you were there, and everybody's looking at each other like, oh, are we going to do this thing for real? Is this really going to happen?
We got a camera. What's going to
Yeah, are we going to do this? And so it wasn't until you donned the Bob and Melvin hat in our sunflower scene, and you went for it, and you were singing this little ditty, and I remember looking around, and people were they were literally staring. You know, I think Brian Pennington, our DP and many times camera operator, 99% camera op, Brian kind of pulled away even and was just, you know, we were all like, this is real. And not only that, you get a sense that this is going to be something. There was something special, sweet in that moment, and I instantly saw the other actors act up. You know, they didn't act down, and they were given freedom to act, to truly be in the present moment and be those characters, be those people. And it was a very, very sweet moment that I relish and love and long to go back to. You know, production, where we're at right now in pre-production, trying to raise funding, that's the frantic, scare me to death moment. You know, you don't know if you're going to wipe out. You feel like you're going 100 miles an hour. You so hope that the fans give you the opportunity to bring these characters and this story to life, but you really just don't know. Production is the best of times.
Yeah,
you know, sure. It's the fun time. It's long hours. It's you know, maddening to the level of work. But I've never had much, you know, as much fun. And I think that's when, you know, people ask, I know, how do you know when you're called? I think that's it. When you're in production and you feel energized in it, then it is. And then post production is its own set of challenges and so forth.
Yeah.
Are you working on anything now besides, you know, we're hopeful that we're going to go into the Rangers in potentially late June? Do you got anything on the horizon now?
I've been pretty much keeping my schedule mostly clear. I mean, small things. Just 2 weeks ago, I shot a web commercial. You know, things like that. In fact, there's a local commercial that's been running quite a bit for a law firm where I play a cop. So, which is very funny to people who know me.
Yeah.
You know, there are things out there, but I got my eggs in this basket. I'm ready to get my hand in the half sword and start digging into this world.
Yeah, man. You know, and we're excited to bring it, even the story, just to the actors to get to play in this world. We've created a really fun world. People got to see a little bit in the teaser, which we filmed in, you know, one day. So you can imagine what we could do with you know, a full-on budget. And people can see Wolf's acting in our other feature, Rise of the Fellowship, riseofthefellowship.com. See all the many ways that you can go, and he plays our infamous and lovable Bob and Melvin character. He's one of those very memorable characters that people really connected with and resonated with, and I think kind of came a little bit out of left field where they didn't expect, and it was a nice moment where he became the mentor role to our lead character played by Justin Moe, the character Randall. Since he doesn't have a father figure in his life, this character Bob and Melvin starts to be that. But it's more than just a father figure. He's also a friend, and through that, and helps him on his journey. Do you have any Rise of the Fellowship or not? It could be any project, any moment where you look back on and you kind of have that, wow, this is cool that I get to do this. Do you have any moment like that on any project that you've worked on?
Yeah, you know, I mean, I think almost, I mean, really, quite honestly, every project.
Yeah.
Every project I work on, there's that moment where you look around and there's a group of collaborators and artists, and there's that one moment where, whether it be directing a farce, and there's this moment where it just comes together. The actors have an idea, I shape it, and then we've got audience members peeing their pants in the, you know, in the audience. I mean, many moments. in Rise of the Fellowship, where I'm looking at Justin and there's a connection there, or finding that being immersed in just even in a well set up shot, with this, like with the sunflowers coming down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm also thinking about working with Available Light Theater in Columbus, where we've got this brand new play that's never been done before, and there's this wonderful ensemble of actors and a wonderful director, and we're trying to figure it out together. How do we bring this story to life?
Yeah.
And I guess for me, it comes down to storytelling, and that's one of the reasons that I like to teach. One of the reasons I like to do it is so that we can tell stories that people connect to, that hopefully make people think about something or look at life in a different way, or on a very basic level is entertaining and allows people to forget about real life.
Yeah, right.
And I think that a lot of what Ron and Scott and Opening Act does, they combine all those things. They combine entertainment. They combine a story with heart, and a story with some, with an interesting journey.
Yeah, right. That's one of the things that we're going to be getting into, obviously, when we start to move into full-on pre-production and go into Lieutenant Wolf and who that is. I've been keeping it kind of under wraps, even from our talent. They know not a lot more other than what the things that we've kind of put out there in a very just honest attempt to try to keep those moments pure, so that when we bring the people together and Wolf can start to put on the cloak of Lieutenant Wolf and what that means, and carry the weight and the brunt of that sword and all that means, tailored with Flint Tanner, who we have now as Skip Lipman confirmed, Drustin, who is now played by David Norquist, and he's confirms. When these guys start to pull this cohesive group, it needs to be kind of brought up from the ground up, and we're going to be giving you guys like a little mini, it'll only be a day, but a little mini boot camp even, of kind of going through and you leading the men and what that looks like, and strategy and all these things, so that when we're in the moment, that Lieutenant Wolf and his men will take over, and it will feel like we're not doing a fantasy story, but we're doing an historical story. And that's what I'm trying to get, is that we're telling the history of these people.
Sure.
And people, I think, are really going to resonate with that. I've never been more excited. I just an uber geeking out over this stuff. Truly, I really do hope we can make this happen and bring it to people. And so I wanted people to get an opportunity to get to meet you, Wolf, to get to see you also in Rise of the Fellowship, because it's not just your skill. It's really kind of the whole package that I want you to be the one. I want your thumbprint as an actor to give us Lieutenant Wolf, and I'm glad you're going to be on it with me, bro. This is going to be a good time, man. This is going to be good filming. We'll be at it once again in a few months, I hope.
I'm really excited. Ready to dive in.
Great. All right, guys, we're gonna sign off for now. I wanted to keep it nice and short and sweet, but I wanted you guys to get to meet Lieutenant Wolf. So until then, we'll see you next time.
It's been a pleasure.